Okay, Frank, tell me about yourself. What do you do?
Well, my name is Frank Bennett. I'm a consultant and author.
Right.
And my area of interest and my work is everything to do with the cloud. Specifically, I would say software as a service is my strongest asset, although I have an understanding of platform as a service and infrastructure as a service as well.
Okay. And what does your business do?
My business, iCloud Limited, offers a Cloud Readiness Assessment.
Right.
It's an online tool delivered as SaaS that helps customers evaluate their preparedness and readiness to introduce cloud computing into their businesses. And I do that working with partners rather than going direct to customer.
I see. So you have a channel business, effectively?
Yes, this is quite a recent development. So I've been going at this for 9 months now. My partners include SCC, Bytes, and Federate at this time.
Mm-hmm. And do you do any pull through marketing? Do you go and do you exhibit anywhere, or how does the business work? Or do you just rely on them to sell the product for you?
Yeah, the business model is that I work through partners. So I assist them in terms of positioning this as a proposition with customers. Often the proposition flows into a more general consulting methodology that they have with customers,
Right.
which has many focuses, and increasingly that focus includes the cloud. And this particular tool that I offer, the Cloud Readiness Assessment, comes right at the front of the conversation with the customer. It's not technology focused, it's people and process focused. It has no bias towards vendor or technology, it makes no assumptions. What it looks to do is to gather the collective intelligence of the people in the business and, if you will, to understand what they know about cloud computing, which will then help the organisation to understand, if you will, their baseline for holding that discussion in the organisation. So we're looking for areas of consensus and dissonance amongst the people who are interested in cloud computing, whether that's because they are in IT, a line of business manager, a CIO, CFO, CEO, whoever.
Right. So I see. So cloud readiness tool is the proposition in short. Can you tell us any more about that?
Well, absolutely. The challenge is this, I think, for many organisations. This is how customers relate it to me. They tell me that every time they meet a vendor to talk about cloud computing, the vendor offers them the silver bullet. And when you've heard 3 different presentations from 3 different vendors, you get 3 different silver bullets, which leaves the customer with a lot of confusion. Now, the leading question actually in the mind of the customer is not, am I interested in cloud computing? Am I interested in technology? The leading question, top of mind question for customers is simply this. Am I investing the capital that I have today in my business in the best way to serve the business? Now, the ancillary question to that question, once you've asked that of yourself and have confidence in the answer, is to surely then, today, ask yourself this question, the subsidiary question, which is, do we now consider cloud within our IT spending initiatives? And if we do, why? The analogy I give to people when they think about the Cloud Readiness Assessment is this. Consider this. If you're going to send a rocket somewhere, the first thing you might ask yourself is, well, what do we know about rockets? Yeah, not a bad starting place. So you ask around, what do we know about rockets? You may be surprised that you may know people in your organisation that know something about rockets. It may be a hobby, an interest, or whatever. So that's stage 1 in the process. And you can substitute rocket for cloud here. So if it was some information gathering, baselining, what do we know? And there'll be a lot of known knowns there and known unknowns as well.
Right.
Beyond that, there's, okay, so if we had a rocket, what would we do with it? Where would we send it, and what would its purpose be when it got there?
Right.
So in the same way, why are we considering cloud? What's the purpose of it? Not where are we sending it, but what are we going to do with it if we had a cloud, if you will? And then if you get through those 2 questions, you then have to ask yourself the next question, well, if we are going to have a rocket and we know where we're going to send it, who can sell us that rocket, or sell us the things that we need to build that rocket for ourselves? So it's a kind of analogy which I put to people, which again, you have to substitute the word rocket for cloud, but it kind of helps position people in what is the real life discussion about cloud. You don't enter it in terms of, well, let's build a rocket. what do we need to build a rocket? Well, let's start out in a different place. What do we know about rockets, first of all? And I think a lot of customers like this approach because they themselves are under pressure. And it's an important conversation, but they need to know where to start out. And the best way to start out is around people and process, not technology, to find out from the people in your organization exactly what they know about cloud computing today. It's not a bad place to begin to reconcile the different agendas that might exist in an organization between all the interested stakeholders. The stakeholders I talked about before, IT, line of business managers, the executive team, specialist people in the organization that advise on technology, including business analysts.
So where are you? How do you acquire new customers? What's your goal now? How are you building your business?
I'm building my business through partners. It's quite clear. They already have those customer relationships. They are holding those conversations. They are wanting a better way to start those conversations about cloud. I say to my partners, don't start a conversation about the cloud unless you know the destination for that conversation. It's a dangerous place to go. The Cloud Readiness Assessment helps you know the destination of that starter conversation. Right. And that's very important. And it's customer focused, about what matters to the customer, not what matters to the vendor. It doesn't promote a bias of technology or any particular solution. What it does is about exploring and understanding what the customer's interest and motivation is to look at cloud computing and think about it from a customer point of view.
So your business really is devoted toward the finding people who've already got a client base and of developing and delivering a tool to them that helps them work more effectively.
Well, certainly SCC and Bytes have extensive customer bases they need to reach. In the case of my other partner, Federate, that's a new business, a boutique business, which is providing advisory consulting services to customers, large enterprise customers, and they needed a toolkit. And the Cloud Readiness Assessment that I provide them is one component of a toolkit that they are using to advise and consult customers on a journey to the cloud. Right.
And you've also written a couple of books, I understand.
I have written a couple of books for Microsoft and Google. The Microsoft book's in its 4th edition now. That's tracked the progress of Microsoft Online Services. Specifically now that product is known as Office 365. Right. The book is called Thinking of Selling Microsoft Office 365, Ask the Smart Questions. It was written for Microsoft partners to explain the business opportunity of selling Microsoft Online Services, particularly Office 365, and it's available as a download from Microsoft Partner Network. The book that Google commissioned me to write is called Thinking of Using Google Apps, Ask the Smart Questions. That was written for the end customer. That was written a year ago, since been revised. That is now available as a download by Google resellers from Google Partner Connect.
Right, interesting. And what did you do before that?
Before that, I mean, I've been in the IT industry a long time, mainframes, client-server computing, blah, 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 blah. But now, here's the interesting thing. I've actually built a SaaS business. So I think when I worked in this area, I've got some true credentials and experience to offer people. So I was a Microsoft ISV, 13-person company. We put together a software as a service product from concept through go-to-market, won customers, won a major contract actually, which we can talk about if you wish, and ultimately got the business away in a trade sale as well. So I've seen the evolution of a software as a service business from concept, a few ideas essentially, through to writing the code, through to delivering on multiple platforms, through to going to market, winning customers, a major contract which gave the business some valuation, and then a trade sale.
Okay. And anything else you want to add? Any other part of your experience that you think is interesting?
Well, a couple of things. I'm a flyer, a pilot. Last year I sailed the Atlantic Ocean. I cycle, I swim, I try to keep fit. But most importantly, I do a lot of research around the cloud still, because I am now currently writing a further edition of the Google book, this time specifically targeted for SME audiences, to help them understand the potential of the cloud to assist their business growth and to compete more effectively in the market. People talk about the democratization of IT. The cloud is certainly doing that and achieving that for those companies that know how to harness it. So this book, which I'm writing with somebody else who will become known to you shortly, they're already quite a high media profile person with they write for broadsheet newspapers and has made TV appearances as well, with a focus on SMEs, with a hope to deliver that book sometime at the end of the year.
Okay, cool. And how do we? What's your? Do you have a particular website that you?
Yes, I do. I have two websites. If you want to look me up as an author, go to www.frankbennett.co.uk. If you want to look at the Cloud Readiness Assessment, go to www.cloudassessment.co.uk.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Frank.
Thanks,
Nice talking to you. Cheers.